staking, and staking assets is really popular right now. Or there's like other protocol developments. Like, in what areas are you hiring the most?
I think we're basically hiring across the entire spectrum of every position we have. That typically comes down to, about half of them are engineering positions, and that's always one of the hardest places to hire. Luckily, we can hire globally, so we can tap into different talent pools all around the globe, which is fantastic. The second thing is, in large number, is customer support. So as much AI we do, as much automation we do, we still actually do need quite a large number of people talking to people. So we're actually offering phone support in 6 languages now. So people can call up, people can in the app they can do a voice call. The other roles are marketing, legal, compliance, other back office roles. There's many of them. So we cover a fairly wide spectrum. We also are in the technical side. We're also looking for different type of developers, like mobile developers, web developers, blockchain developers, all of this type of different roles. So we actually see this as the best chance to hire people, and then the people we hire today can scale up our system so that when the next bull market comes, hopefully in a couple of years or even maybe sooner, we're ready. So we always want to be ready for the next peak, which is really important in our industry.
And how many people does Binance employ currently? Because 2,000 is a crazy number. What number are you at currently?
We're just around 6,000 right now.
Wow.
So we want to get to about 8,000 before the end of the year. That's the target.
Amazing, amazing. And where does the revenue come to support like so many people at this company? I think that makes you like the largest crypto company by far, right?
I think today by employees, we should be the largest now. Mm-hmm. Our revenues are pretty simple. We charge a fee when people trade, and that's it. That's the bulk of our revenue. We have some other stuff like we have M&A, which done pretty well. We have other staking, etc. We have like margin lending that generates a little bit of income, but those are very tiny compared to the trading fees.
CZ, I got to bring this up because it was just hilarious with your tweet. You had this picture of yourself, which is great. And then Kobe tweeted out, wait, I just realized, did you Photoshop your own head on a stock photo of someone waiting to shake hands? And I'm not even sure if you did or not, but the fact that this photo exists is pretty hilarious. And I really love your interplay on crypto Twitter. But is this photo real or what is this?
This photo is a Photoshop photo. I thought it was clear, and I didn't Photoshop it. I was like, there was some discussion in our internal chat groups. The previous photo was the U.S. Army hiring photo. They also Photoshop my face, like we want you. That photo, and we're saying that photo was like a couple years old. And then one of the designers just posted this photo in the internal chat group. I was like, damn, can I post it right now? Go for it. So I just took that photo and just posted. And so, yeah, it was like very organic. Our team Photoshopped this. I didn't. I thought it was pretty clear with,
No, it just like, it almost could fit. So if you're just a passerby, you kind of see it and it takes a second look to be like, oh my God, this is a stock photo. But this is part of what I think people love about crypto. And what I love about crypto is it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's somewhat still irreverent, and that's something that's special about this industry. But I want to ask about you, because you're definitely a figure at Binance, being sort of the founder and the guy who gets photoshopped into meme stock photos and that sort of thing. What are your plans? Are you going to ever retire at some point, or is this CZ plus Binance forever?
Okay, so let me address the first part first. I think I love the meme culture in the crypto space, and I think one of my friends told me the best. Says he says, CZ, look, I like the fact that you take work very seriously, but you don't take yourself very seriously. So I think that's the mentality I encourage people to adopt. Just we're just normal guys, and a designer photoshopping your head onto something else, etc. If you just embrace it, and it's fun. It's like there's nothing wrong with that. For myself, I do want to retire sooner or later. I've been CEO of Binance for 5 years. I don't think a CEO should be longer than 10 years. I think any CEO that stays in one role for 10 years, we get older, we get more stale. Our thinking gets molded in a certain way. the organization becomes more fixated on a certain structure, which may or may not, which usually may be good for the company in the short term, but long term, I think companies these days should be more dynamic, more adjustable, and more changing fast changing with the times. So I think somewhere between now and 5 years later, I should retire. So we are looking at succession plans, how to train the next set of talent. That's actually what I spend most of the time, my time doing, is dealing with the talent pool, people, training, coaching, making sure that we have the right organizational structure. I actually don't do any specific operational stuff. I look much more at the human side of things. So yeah, I do think CEOs should not be more than 10 years. So somewhere between 5 to 10 years is a perfect time for a CEO to transition out, get new blood in. And so like when I transition out, I may become a chairman for a couple of years and then retire completely. And then I'll be busy with other stuff. There's so many other interesting stuff to do as well.
At what point, what do you want Binance to become when you know that it's ready for CZ to take a step back? Like where is Binance today, and where does it need to be before you are comfortable giving the keys to the kingdom to somebody else? What's left to do?
Well, so Binance should become in such a situation where it does not need me at all. And today I'm taking steps back. I'm taking more and more steps back. I'm delegating a lot more. So today the operations of Binance, I can go on vacation for I can turn off my phone for like a week. Binance will be completely fine. Even a month, I think Binance will be completely fine. There's some strategic decisions they still come to me and ask for my opinions. I'm stepping further and further back. I'm like you guys decide. Those decisions should not be made by me. So and I think, to be honest, today Binance is already very strong. I think even if I retire today, it's probably not a big deal. And Binance will continue, but I would like to see Binance shape up as we're growing really, really quickly. Our organizational structure is not very fixed. In fact, we are experimenting with a lot of different structures, etc. The structure inside Binance is very dynamic. So I think in a couple of years, Binance will be at a point where Binance does not need CZ, which is a perfect place for Binance to be. And that's probably a time that I will say, hey, look, I can chill out and do other things. Yeah, and for Binance, but Binance itself, I think this I want to explain as well. Different companies in this industry have different. It's clear that they have different goals. Binance wants to provide tools for people to access crypto, so we want to be the infrastructure tools provider. Whereas even other exchanges, we can tell that they go into stock trading. They just want to be a trading house. They want to trade, and they want to charge. They want to make money on commissions. Whereas we have a lot of tools that have no revenue. We have a decentralized wallet, Trust Wallet, that zero income, no revenue. We have CoinMarketCap. They used to rely on advertising revenue. We removed all advertising from CoinMarketCap, so we just provide access to crypto information. So we want to be the tools provider for crypto. This is the reason why we're not going to stocks. We're not going to provide stocks trading tools. We're in the Web3 crypto world. So there are some subtle differences between different companies that, at least from my perspective, I can see. Nothing wrong or right with any of the approaches, but Binance is more of a Web3 tools provider.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting, the visions. We had Brian Armstrong on the podcast a few months ago. We also had SBF, and we asked kind of similar questions of like, what do you want your companies to be when they grow up, right? And with when we were talking with Brian, there's kind of this dichotomy of, do you want to be more like kind of a bank? So are you trying to get Binance larger than JP Morgan, let's say? I mean, 2.5 trillion in assets, something like this? Or there's this other path, because you're in Web3, you're in technology, where you could become more like a Silicon Valley company, like a Facebook. Are you competing with the banks? Are you competing with like the Facebooks and the Silicon Valley companies of the world? Is it a combination of both? Or is it something net new? How would you answer that question, CZ?
Yeah, okay. I think in short, we definitely don't want to become a bank. That's very, very clear. And we actually also don't want to become Facebook. We don't want to hold people's cash, money. We also don't want to hold people's data. So
you don't want to hold people's cash because you hold a lot of cash right now, right?
Today we do, but I think in 5-10 years, these decentralized exchanges will be bigger than centralized exchanges. So this is why we invest very heavily in blockchain development, wallets, Trust Wallet, ISF Pal, which we invested as well. We invest in multiple wallets. So I do believe that I would say maximum in 10 years, DEXs, DeFi is going to be bigger than CeFi.
So there's a world for Binance where you guys still exist, you're still a market leader, but you have no custody of anyone's assets and private keys. You're just kind of a conduit, a bridge. Like, what does that look like?
I don't think it's like I think it will take a long time for the centralized exchanges to go to zero, but I think it will take 10 years. This DeFi is going to be bigger than decentralized exchanges is going to be bigger than centralized ones. But the centralized ones will continue to play a role for many decades to come, I think, because there's still many people who are much more comfortable using an email and password. If you ask my parents' generation, they would much prefer that instead of using a USB stick to do encrypted backups of their private keys in a distributed manner, all this other stuff. But I think the technology will improve to a point where the decentralized stuff will be much more usable. It's actually easier to use because you don't have to do KYC, you don't have to do AML. All of these are very tedious processes that you can have your own control of your wallet. And also, Binance is not fixated on the centralized exchange. So I didn't like. I typically don't use banks or Facebook as analogies for companies that we want to mimic. Actually, there was one other company I often do, which is Google. So Google provides a number of infrastructure services, a number of tools for people to use the internet. We do search, email, maps, all this other stuff, right? Many of them are kind of free, not super free, but the Web2 is based on an ads model. But Google provides a number of tools for the Web2 for the web world. We want to be the company that provides a number of tools in the Web3 world. So it doesn't have to be the centralized exchange. Many people thought of Google as a search engine, but Google is way more than just a search engine. So that's kind of how I visualize things and how I try to position Binance sort of a future direction.